So today we're going to go over how to winterize our R-Series sprayer. This sprayer is equipped with ExactApply nozzle bodies. If yours does not have the ExactApply system, the procedure is similar. You just don't have to worry about nozzle position or turning on your A and B solenoids. Before I get started, I like to look around the machine and see what kind of options it has. That way I make sure I get them all winterized. This one is not equipped with an eductor, which would be located under the front left side of the tank. But this one does have a high flow valve. So we want to make sure we open our high flow valve to get winterizer through both of our flow meters. Then we'll come up to the front of the machine. This one is equipped with a front fill valve. So we'll make sure when we get our winterizer in our solution tank, we open this valve to get the winterizer to run up to it so it doesn't freeze. Then we'll walk to the outside of the boom, check for foam markers and fence row nozzles. This machine is equipped with a fence row nozzles, so we want to make sure we get those winterized as we do our outer sections. You want to check on both sides because it can have fence row nozzles on both sides. This does not have foam marker systems, but if it did, we want to winterize those as soon as we get winterizer in our rinse tank. So before I start, I like to fill my rinse tank full of water and do a complete solution system rinse to get all the chemical residue and junk out of the tank and spray it out of the boom before winter storage. And after I do my system rinse, I always do a boom air purge to get as much of the water out of the boom as I can. So once I've rinsed my system, I'll go ahead and I'll fill my rinse tank with my John Deere winterizer. You want to run about 45 to 50 gallons, typically 6 jugs of the John Deere winterizer and 12 jugs of water will be enough to do a 120-foot boom. So once I get winterizer in my rinse tank, I'll come up and I'll flip my rinse fill valve open to make sure I get winterizer around that ball valve. And then we can, if it's equipped with foam markers, you want to put winterizer in the foam marker tank also and run your foam markers until you see winterizer coming out both ends of the boom. This system is equipped with solution command. So once we get the winterizer in our tank, if the engine's running, we can hit our rinse system. And that will open our options for boom rinse only, complete system rinse, tank only, or just a water transfer. So we can do our solution system rinse and it will proceed through all the different options. If you do have an eductor, once it gets to the eductor option, you want to actuate the handles on your eductor to get the winterizer flowing through it. But I'm going to cancel this one and we'll go through the procedure up in the cab. Also, you want to make sure your hand rinse tank, open the valve on it, just let the water drain out and leave the valve open. So now we'll hop up in the cab, fire the machine up, and we'll do our system rinse. So some of the things we want to look for when we're in the cab, we want to make sure our section control is off. That way when we spray out the boom, we can spray sitting still. Also, if you are equipped with ExactApply, you want to go into your boom and nozzles and make sure go to our spray mode, our manual setup, and make sure our A and B spray mode is selected so we spray out of both of our front and rear nozzles. And on the nozzle body itself, out on the boom, you want to make sure we have either 1, 2, or position 3 facing the front. So then I'll go ahead, I'll select my rate, I'll do a target pressure of 40 psi, and I'll select that on my keypad to do a target pressure. And then the last thing, we changed our high flow valve. So I'll go into my spray system and make sure my flow rate mode matches my valves. So make sure my high flow is activated, hit OK. So now we can do our rinse. We go into our rinse page, we'll select solution system, and then we'll hit start. And this will proceed through all of the rinse procedures. Run through the eductor if you have an eductor. While it's doing that, you need to run down and open all the valves on your eductor to get the winterizer flowing through it. Then it will proceed to our agitation, our bypass, and it'll rinse the solution tank with the rinse nozzles. And then when it gets to the rinse boom, I'm going to cancel it so that I can manually rinse it myself. While we're waiting, the John Deere winterizer part number that we use is N305634. Like I said, usually takes 6 jugs of that in the rinse tank, along with 12 jugs of water. So right now, it's still doing our rinse. It's already run through the agitation, the bypass. If you had an eductor, it would have already done it. Now it's just rinsing the solution tank down real good. Alright, so our rinsing is done. So at this point, I'm going to cancel out of my rinse system. It has done everything but the boom so far. So I want to go out and crack the valves on my front fill and side fill to get this winterizer up to them before I push all the winterizer out the boom. So on these, when you open the valve, you have to turn on the electric valve and then wait for the winterizer to come out. We got blue coming out. Turn our valve off. Then we use this air valve, push what's in this line back up to the tank. Around the side. Open our valve over here. Got winterizer out of that. Now we're ready to winterize the boom. So like I said, section control off. Use the target pressure and verify that both of our A and B nozzles are enabled. So A plus B. So now I'll do one section at a time. I'll fire up my pump. Then I'll use my boom indexing to shut off all of my sections. Now I'll enable my far left section only. So now I'll hit my spray button. I'll watch and wait till I see blue coming out of all the nozzles. So once I have blue out of all nozzles, come over here and I will enable another section with my boom indexing. Then I'll take a roller and I'll disable the first one. I'll hit spray again to do my next intersection. I'll turn it off after I see all the blue. You want to repeat this procedure for all the remaining sections on the boom. If you have any solution or winterizer left in your tank, enable all sections and spray it out until your tank's empty. If you are winterizing a 4023 sprayer, or a carbon fiber boom sprayer, you want to make sure on your outer and breakaway sections that fold with the nozzles facing up, you want to cover those nozzle bodies with caps to keep rain from getting in those nozzle bodies and freezing and breaking your nozzles.